Shoretrooper Foam Helmet. Index. With this video guide and templates, you can build this Shoretrooper helmet with foam. Remember to validate with a ruler the printing scale, in case you want to print for an adult. Always print from Adobe Acrobat Reader, because other PDF programs do not print in the correct scale. Print this page first, and after validating the scale, print the rest. Use the first page of each piece as a guide on how to join the parts. In the Etsy publication, you can access the second image to be able to print at another scale. Remember, print only at 100% for adults, because the table is only for kids. If you want to scale the helmet to a child, you have to use this table. First, you measure the contour of his head at the height of the forehead. And we write down the centimeters obtained, in this case 54 centimeters. Then, you look up the value in centimeters in the table, and use the resulting percentage value. We will use that percentage value in the Adobe Acrobat Reader, in custom scale. Select the correct printer, and select the correct paper, which you can use letter or A4. If you print for an adult, indicate the option actual size. If you print for a child, you have to indicate the percentage in custom scale. You also have the details of the front, terminals and stamp, available in 3D models to print. Searching for accessories for Shoretrooper foam. You can download from this link. Head. I removed the numbers, because they are not needed for construction, and they confuse. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will cut the mold, to be able to draw the lines on the foam. We will cut the other side, to be able to draw it. We also cut the edges to draw them. Always remember to draw the union lines. Also draw the union lines inward. We will cut again, to draw the internal lines on the foam. I made a mistake, I drew the line on the wrong side. I will draw on the correct side. I will remove the wrong one with black marker. I will try this hot knife that I bought from Amazon. Comes with 2 cutters, to put on the end of the welder. We will cut all sides straight. Cuts very easy and detailed. For someone who finds it difficult to cut, or sharpen the cutters, it is another alternative for better finishes. These parts will also cut their sides straight. We will give heat from behind, to give a circular shape. I will use a metal cup, but you can use any element that serves to shape. We will curve the foam as much as we can. Also with the central part, we will give heat from behind. We will cut strips with 5 mm foam thickness. Strips about 8 mm wide. We will put the strips in the joints of the head. We will draw leaving 3 mm of space, to know where to put the glue later. Before starting to glue, we will find some way to apply the glue. You can use any container with a spout. We will use this wide paper tape to put on the sides. The important thing is to press on the inner side of the mouth of the can. We will put another on the other side, forming a V. We will press again on this side, to prevent the glue from entering the gutter for the lid. In this way, we dump the glue without problems in the container. Now we carefully remove the tape and throw it away. We will put glue on the edge, where we do not draw. We will join the strip to the edge of the head, leaving the part drawn. We will draw on the other side, to leave the same distance. We will always join, keeping the same surface level between the parts of the head, and using the union lines. We will do the same on the other side. We will turn the piece, to be able to cut the leftovers. We will give heat underneath, to give a more circular shape to the entire head. We will fold the edges up as much as we can. We will try to move up the edges at 90 degrees. Eyes. Always follow the initial guide of each part, on how the molds are joined. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Always remember to indicate the union lines. We will cut the internal lines, to draw them on the foam. We will invert the mold, to draw on the other side. We will do the same with all internal lines. We will cut on one side, and invert on the other to draw both sides. Simple lines can be drawn directly on the foam. We will cut all sides straight. We will cut the internal rectangles, and remove them. We will cut the lines superficially, to later emphasize them with heat. We will cut approximately 2 mm from the surface. The same on the other side. With heat, we will deepen the cut more. Now we will join the edges of the triangle. We will give a little curvature in this sector of the foam. Joining eyes with head. We will join the part of the eyes with the head. From the front to the back. The most curved part of the head is the back. You can also validate the union lines before gluing. We will put glue on the entire bottom line of the head. Now we will put glue in the upper part of the eyes part, on the back side. From the front to the back. Always use the union lines to join both parts. You even have to force the foam to join both union lines. You can press from inside the head to join. We will close the circle. If there is pressure, always use paper tape to facilitate the union. Back. We will cut the mold to be able to draw the circles and internal lines on the foam. Unlike the rest, for this part we will use 5 mm foam thickness. Although if you do not have, you can use 4 mm. Remember to draw the union lines. We will cut the internal lines, to be able to draw them on the foam. We will invert the mold, to draw on the other side. We will also cut this line, to draw it. We will also cut this part to draw it. Also this rectangle. We will cut the stripes, so that we can also draw them. We will cut all sides straight. This detail, we will also use 5 mm foam thickness. To cut the stripes, I recommend using this type of ExcelBlades cutter. We will cut the rectangle to create a door. Later, we will glue from behind to leave it open. We will cut the sides of this part straight. Same with the other side. To make the circles, we can use metal or plastic cylinders, of the same diameter. If you don't have, you can do it with a cutter or scissors. Same for the smaller circle, with the back of a marker. Now we will cut the remaining indicated part. We cut the sides first, and then the curved ends. We will glue the circles. We will glue the whole piece, always joining flush with the base. Joining back with head and eyes. We will put glue on the entire back of the back part, leaving without putting in the upper part, which is above the eyes part. You can previously indicate the areas of the stripes, to avoid putting glue. We will join both parts from back to front, always using the union lines. First you can level both pieces at the bottom, and then join the rest together. Here, we will leave without glue, to have freedom to move these eyes. We will join both ends of the back, to close the turn. Nose and chin. Remember that you can do the front with 3D printer, or with foam. Remember to see the diagonal cuts in the cutting diagram. This mold you will only need if you make the front with foam. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will cut the internal lines, to be able to draw them on the foam. Remember to indicate the union lines behind, to be able to invert the mold. We will also cut other internal lines. We will also cut this other. Remember to also indicate the union lines inwards. For the base of the front, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Also for the trapezoid we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Also for the semicircle. We will cut the sides of these parts straight. We will cut with the cut down at 45 degrees in the center, as indicated in the cutting diagram. Later we will put the base of the front. The rest of the sides we will cut straight. Now we will cut this detail on the sides of the center. We will cut the edges of the trapezoid. And now we cut the lines down. The same on the other side. We put glue all over this side of the cut. On the other side, we will put glue on the edge, only from the middle down. At the bottom of the edge. We will join moving this side about 3 mm down. In the back, we will put the semicircle above the front. We will cut the lines superficially, to later emphasize them with heat. We will glue the base of the front. If you make the front with foam, you have to previously assemble the details on the base. We will indicate about 3 mm, to leave free between the edge and the front. We will put glue on the back of the edge, where we have not marked. We will join leaving 3 mm free, moving the front down. This curvature of the front is normal. We will put the trapeze behind the chin. We will join the center first, and then the sides, always maintaining the same surface level. We leave this area without gluing, to be able to move these tips freely. Joining chin with helmet. We will join the tips moved up first, and in that position. For this, we will indicate where we will put the glue, and that we will leave up. We will put glue on the back of the tip, where we have indicated. Now we will put glue on the edge as far as the tip goes. Remember that the difference in height is gradual towards the end of the tip, that ends at the same level. Now we will glue the area that we left unglued. We will also join the upper edge of the chin with the edge of the back. We will force taking the triangle of the back towards the concave triangle of the chin. We also close the area that was not joined. We will do the same on the other side. The indicated line must remain continuous. We'll fix the door so it stays open. We will put a cover to fix back. Sides. To join the molds, always validate the guide of each part, on how to put them together. This part is long, if you don't have a large foam sheet. It is 85 centimeters. For this part, we will use 8 millimeters, and then another 5 millimeters. Remember to indicate the union lines. We will cut these lines, to be able to draw them on the foam.
Now, we will use 5 mm with the 8 mm base, to later join both layers. We will cut the 5 mm layer. If you do not have a large foam sheet, you can use the mold in the middle, and then join both sides. I always recommend using protection when gluing or painting. We will join both layers, 8 mm with a 5 mm. When cutting joined layers, or thick foam, it is important to use a sharp cutter. We will cut the sides straight. The edge in the foam is seen as a single layer. We will curve a little to facilitate the union. Before cutting the ends, you can validate the length of the sides with the helmet, more if you use other thicknesses of foam. Before gluing, we will cut this detail 3 mm down. We will indicate to know how far to cut.
The same on the other side. We will curve the sides part to facilitate the union. Joining sides with helmet. We will join from the center to the sides, and from the back to the front. First, we will also only join up to this curve. We will put glue on the entire upper line of the sides part. On this side, we will put glue from here. We will join from back to the front. We will start from the back center line. We will always use the union lines to join both parts. In this area, we will put the sides part on the detail of circles, without leaving spaces. The same to the other side. We will indicate from behind, to know where to put the glue. In this area, also the sides part joins on the back part without leaving spaces. This gap must also be left between the tip and the sides part. Now I recommend joining the end, to level with the chin. Then we press to join what remains. Remember that this gap should be seen. We will join the remaining side. Bottom. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Remember to indicate the union lines. We will cut the internal lines, to be able to draw them on the foam. Remember also to indicate the internal union lines. We will invert the mold, to be able to draw on the other side. We will cut the remaining internal areas. We will cut the sides straight. We will cut and remove these areas. We will use the smallest cutter for the curves and details. You can then glue the same moved back, or cover with a new one. From behind, we will cover it with a rectangle of 3 mm foam thickness. You can use 5 mm if you don't have. We will indicate to know where to put the glue. We will put glue from behind. We curve the foam a little to facilitate the union. Joining bottom with helmet. We will put glue all over the top of the part, up to the center line. Now we will put glue in all the internal part of the helmet. We will join from back to front, starting from the back center line. We will put a sheet of paper on one side, to prevent it from gluing. We will join using the union lines. The end reaches the lines of the sides part. Also here in the gap, the internal part with the external part have to be at the same level. Visor. You can paint the logo later, or use the stamp to emboss it on the foam. You can make the stamp with 3D printer. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will cut this contour line, to draw it on the foam. For this part we will use 5 mm foam thickness. We will cut only on the inner line. We will put the 5 mm layer on the large 8 mm layer. We will cut the logo of the mold, to be able to draw it later on the foam. We will cut both layers straight. We will cut the rest of the sides straight. We will give heat from behind to give curvature. Also heat from the front. Optionally, if you want the embossed logo, you can use the stamp made with 3D printer. First we will give heat from both sides. We press in the position with the stamp. Joining visor with helmet. To join the visor to the helmet, we will put glue on the entire lower part. On the side of the helmet, we will put glue in this front rectangle. Remember that the visor is attached to the second layer. Also, the second layer is slightly narrower than the lower one. We will use to join the central union line. Foam front detail. Using 8mm foam thickness, we will draw the front with the mold. You can make the circles with cylinders of the same diameter. You can mark the holes in the main circle. Then cut the circle. If you do it with a cylinder, you will achieve a better finish. With 1 or 2 mm foam, we will make the lattice. We will glue one up and another down, forming gaps. We will adjust the sides to the width of the front. We will also make the hole in the center. In the lower part, we will cut some V, to put the circles inside. We will mark the dividing line. We will cut straight the sides of the base. We will glue the details on the base of the front. Foam terminals detail. Now we will make the terminals of the sides part. For this, we will cut a strip of 2 mm foam, of 15 mm wide. We will glue half a square with an entire square until the terminal is completed. Once completed, we will cut the center. We will glue the terminals. Sealing and details. We will heat the entire helmet to seal the foam. We will take the opportunity to give the dome a more circular shape. Gluing 3D printed details. Remember that we have to leave about 3 mm around the front. Now we will glue the terminals. Lenses. To obtain the mold of the lenses, we can use a sheet of paper on the back. We will bend symmetrically in the middle. We will draw a surplus to be able to glue. You can use this type of polarized sheet, which you can find as Hobart face shield replacement lens. It is hard as an X-ray, which you can also use instead of the sheet. You can also order to make with acrylic with the necessary shape. Head pad. For the head pad, we will use a fine sponge of 1 cm or less. We will mark with the shape of a circle. We will cut the outline. We will use 2 mm or 3 mm foam thickness to cover the sponge. We will leave 2 cm around the circle. We will make another one. We will cut the foam around the contour. We will indicate to know where to put the glue. We will join first from opposite sides, and then the rest. To remove the air inside, you can prick with a pin. Now we will cut the outline, so that there are no differences. We will put Velcro, to be able to fix it to the inside of the helmet. If you want, you can glue the pad directly inside the head. We will indicate to know where to put the glue.